Hello, dinosaur aficionados. Me and Stego are here. Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't Stego. This is Herbie. He's an ankylosaur. I was thinking about a stegosaurus because that's who we're writing about today. So he's here. He's going to inspire me to help me write. So today what we're doing is we're looking at this assignment that you can see in front of you. It says Dino Label and Write. And there is a word bank. Half of these words are labels that help us describe the picture, and the other half of the words are prepositions. So what I'd like you to do now is to do your best to read through the words and to highlight in yellow each of the words that just labels, not prepositions. So I want you to pause me now using your honor system and highlight in yellow each of the words that describes a part of the picture. So for instance, Triceratops, right here. So I would highlight that in yellow. Whereas to the left is part of a prepositional phrase. So that phrase we would not highlight in yellow. Okay, pause me now to do that, and then turn me back on so that you can see the next step. All right, so here's the next step. You should have highlighted in yellow these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 labeled terms. We have Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Pterodactyl, Dinosaur, Palm Tree, Egg, and Cracked Egg. All right, next step. This one's a little easier now that we have these all labeled. Please highlight in blue carefully the words that are either prepositions, which are direction words like under, above, left, right, next to, or prepositional phrases, which means it contains a preposition, but it's a phrase. A phrase is not a sentence. A sentence, of course, has a beginning and an ending and a complete thought. Instead, it gives us a simple direction, usually without a complete thought and usually without a capital or a period. So please highlight all of your prepositions now. Pause me to do that. Okay, so here are all my prepositions. I've highlighted them in blue. I have above, under, around, to the left, to the right, over, beside, in front, below. Okay, so check yours with mine. Pause so that you can catch up, and then meet me on the next one. Okay, so what we're going to do on this page is all of my words are highlighted, and I'm going to move my words around the page to where I feel they are best labeling what's occurring there, both the prepositions and the terms. So let me give you an example, and then I want you to pause me so that you can do the rest on your own. So for instance, let's start with the Triceratops. Well, this guy is a Triceratops. You'll notice that after I took away the Triceratops and I moved it by the Triceratops, it crossed it out. So what should you do, first grade? You got it. Okay. Pause me now and label with each of the yellow labels, then label with each of the blue. You better have paused me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to label with you, and it doesn't have to be exactly where I put it, but it should be labeled in the correct spot. So if we choose under and then we put it up here, I'm not sure that's the right spot. So let's do this together. This guy is a Stegosaurus. Where's the pterodactyl? Above. These are all dinosaurs, so maybe I'll put that up here, because they're all dinosaurs. Now, if you're really tricky, you might even draw some lines. So let me get some lines drawn. And that might help, that might help us to identify that each of these are dinosaurs. So my lines are a little messy. I hope yours are a little better. Plus, if you draw the lines the way that I did, then you can't color in your picture at the end, and that's like my favorite part. So maybe I'll try to be a little bit more careful about where I put my labels. Now I'll be able to color it in, because that's fun. All right, so the next one we're going to do is the palm tree. These are palm trees. we have an egg. And the reason why I'm choosing this one to be the egg, because my next label is the cracked egg. That's this one. Now you'll notice that I can put my words right above the picture because I have a white out text box. You may not be able to do that, so you might have to put yours either right above or below. I would suggest that you write small and neat because you're going to find that this is going to be very filled in by the end. Let me give you an example. This is what Mrs. Smith's work looked like before I did it on the computer to make sure I knew what I was doing. So you can see that it's really filled in. All right, so then let's find above. So if I'm thinking about above, I'm thinking about the things that are in the air. So the pterodactyl is usually above everything else. And who is under? Well, in my mind, the eggs are under the palm tree. Let's talk about what is around. Well, I think this Triceratops is around the palm trees and around the area. Who is to the left? Well, Stego is to the left of the cracked egg. And who is to the right? Triceratops is to the right of the palm tree and the uncracked egg. Let's talk about who is over. Well, we've already done pterodactyl, so let's talk about the palm tree. This canopy of the palm tree is over the other items. Who is beside? Well, in my mind, these two trees are beside each other. Let's talk about in front. Trying to find where Mrs. Smith put that. This egg, the whole one, is in front of this palm tree. And let's talk about below. Lastly, let's do that this cracked egg is below the canopy. Now, this is not the only correct answers that you could do in this system. This is just an example. So if you're stuck on one, just use what I did. And what it does here is that this is a way for us to brainstorm how to write our next part, which is a story. So it gives me examples. I can talk about a cracked egg, Triceratops, pterodactyl, stegosaurus. I can use the term dinosaur. I can also use these prepositions and prepositional phrases. Over, below, under, around, in front, to the left, above. And by having them all there, it gives me an idea of where I'm going to go. And you can see that all of mine are crossed out, so I make sure I used all of them in order to label. Now, when I'm doing my writing, which will be in the next video, I am not going to probably use every single label term in yellow or every single blue term, preposition or prepositional phrase. So join me for the next video so that we can do our writing. Take care.